Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to cut through the noise, get you those insights.
Right.
Navigating online shopping can be a bit of a minefield, right? You find that perfect t-shirt or maybe a hoodie that just screams you, and then the little voice pops up. Is this site legit? Can I actually trust them with my money? We've all been there. And today, we're diving deep into exactly that.
Okay, our focus today is one specific place, urbanclothinglondon.com. They sell men's urban fashion, t-shirts, hoodies, overshirts, polos, cool stuff. Our mission, figure out if they're for real. We're working off a really thorough YouTube review by Scam Finder. They did a lot of the digging. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right, and this goes way beyond just this one site, urbanclothinglondon.com. This deep dive, it's really about giving you, the listener, some tools, a better way to look at any online store. You're always trying to sort through all the info flying around and figuring out who to trust online. Well, that's huge. And the green flags, the red flags we talk about today, think of it as a framework. It'll help you make smarter choices wherever you shop online. Exactly. A framework. I like that. So let's start with the positives. What looked good initially? ScamFinder actually found a few green flags right away for urbanclothinglondon.com. First off, and this one's pretty big, their customer support seemed quite accessible. And I don't just mean like a hidden email address. No, they actually list a phone number and a physical address.
Yeah.
When you see that kind of detail, what does that usually signal right off the bat?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? How these small things, a phone number, an actual street address, they really shape your first impression. They generally signal, or at least try to signal, a genuine effort to be reachable, to be accountable. A physical address, even if it's just, a registered office, it suggests they exist somewhere tangible, not just online. It means if something goes wrong, theoretically, there's someone real to contact, not just a website that could vanish. So that kind of transparency, it builds a baseline of trust. It suggests they're not actively hiding, which, well, some less reputable sites definitely do.
Yeah, it definitely makes you feel a bit more secure. Like, okay, maybe there's a real operation here. And the good signs didn't stop there, did they? Scam Finder also pointed out they have a social media presence, specifically a linked Facebook page. In this day and age, how important is that social media link? And what should we look for beyond just, the link existing?
An active Facebook page, that usually adds to the feeling of legitimacy, definitely. It suggests they're, engaging with people, building some kind of community maybe, open to feedback. Seeing recent posts, seeing them maybe reply to comments, it builds confidence, makes them seem alive, responsive. But, and this is important, it's not just having the page, it's the quality of the activity. Is it genuine? Are people actually commenting? Is it recent? Or is it just like automated stuff, a dead page, or one that looks totally generic that can actually be a subtle warning sign itself? So, linked page, good start. But you got to look a bit closer at what's actually happening on it.
That's a really good distinction. Active engagement versus just being there. And Scam Finder found something else too, did they? Hints that urbanclothinglondon.com might be involved in other businesses. For the average person shopping, why would that detail even matter? How does that factor in?
Ah, right. The other businesses point, that adds another sort of layer to the potential green flags. It hints potentially at a more established company, maybe more diversified. A business with multiple ventures often seems more stable, less likely to be a here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing. It suggests maybe there's more infrastructure behind it, maybe shared resources, a longer term view. This is quite different from those single site operations that can pop up, grab some cash, and disappear. So diversification can imply experience, maybe better financial backing, a commitment to sticking around, all good things for building trust. Indirectly, anyway.
Okay, so summing up the good stuff, accessible support info, a Facebook page, hints of a bigger operation. You might be thinking, sounds okay, what's the problem? But here's where it gets really interesting. Because as Scam Finder kept digging, a totally different picture started to form. Some pretty serious red flags popped up, ones that really make you pause. First big one, and this is major, a complete lack of customer reviews on their own website. Think about it. When you shop online, you look for reviews, right? Scroll down, see what people say. On urbanclothinglondon.com, nothing. Zero. Zip. That absence alone just feels off. But it gets much, much worse when Scam Finder looked elsewhere. Independent places like Trustpilot, Reddit, the feedback there was, and this is a direct quote, not great. On Trustpilot, a really low rating. Just 2.6 stars. That's, it's bad. A serious warning right there. Yeah, and the details of the complaints are really what hit home. People consistently saying they got the wrong items, where stuff that was really low quality didn't match the photos or description at all. Then trying to fix it. Apparently total silence from customer service, just no replies.
And getting returns or refunds. Huge problems, major difficulties. It wasn't just one or two people. These were common themes. recurring issues. It got so bad, some customers actually reported the company to Trading Standards, which, for anyone unfamiliar, that's the official UK body that deals with unfair business practices. The fact that people felt they had to go that far, that really speaks volumes about how frustrated they were.
And if we, connect this to the bigger picture, having absolute zero reviews on your own site, while simultaneously getting hammered with such negative feedback everywhere else, it just begs the question, doesn't it? What are they trying to hide by controlling the narrative so tightly on their own turf? Most legitimate businesses, even new ones, they understand reviews are important, good and bad. They often see them as feedback, a chance to improve, a way to show they're transparent. So when a site actively avoids or just doesn't include any customer feedback right where they're selling, it's a massive signal. It suggests they probably don't want you to see the real experiences. Plus, the type of complaints, wrong stuff, bad quality, ghosting customers that points to systemic problems. Not just oopsies. These are fundamental failures, breaches of basic trust. You paid for something, you didn't get it, and you can't get help. When people resort to trading standards, it usually means a complete breakdown. A business may be ignoring consumer rights altogether. So yeah, that combination, silence on site, uproar elsewhere, it creates this huge trust gap. Signals deep issues.
That difference between hiding reviews and actually being transparent is just so critical, isn't it? You want to see the whole picture. But the red flags didn't stop at the reviews. ScamFinder also highlighted how new the website is, which, when you add it to the other stuff, becomes pretty significant. They checked the WHOIS records, the public database for domain names. UrbanClothingLondon.com was only registered in December 2024. We're doing this deep dive in August 2025, so the site isn't even a year old yet.
Exactly. And look, being new isn't automatically bad. Every business starts somewhere. But it definitely means you need to be more cautious, especially when there are other problems lurking. An established history, that gives you something to go on. Years of operation, customer interactions, a track record. It builds confidence slowly. A brand new site just doesn't have that history. There's less data, less proof of reliability, makes it harder to feel secure. And unfortunately, it's a common tactic for scammy operations pop up fast, make quick sales, then vanish. Poof. Customers left with nothing. Often, truly legitimate new businesses know this, so they go the extra mile elsewhere. Maybe they're super transparent, offer amazing service right out of the gate, really push for those early positive reviews to build credibility fast. But when a site is new and it lacks transparency and it has bad external reviews, that newness stops being neutral. It becomes another worrying sign. Suggests maybe it's not built to last or to be trusted.
That's such a key point about context. New with great transparency. Okay, maybe worth a look. New with zero reviews and terrible feedback. Totally different ballgame. And speaking of transparency, this leads to the third, and maybe the most crucial red flag ScamFinder found. A complete lack of information about who owns or runs the business. Like nothing. No founder's name mentioned anywhere. No company backstory. No about us that actually tells you anything meaningful about the people involved. Just anonymous. Okay, let me just play devil's advocate for a second here.
Yeah.
Couldn't a really new startup, just be focused on getting products out? Maybe they haven't had time to write up a fancy About Us page with bios and all that.
That's a fair question. And it's true. Startups are busy places. Resources can be tight. However, when we're talking about building trust, especially online trust, that lack of ownership info, it creates a massive void. It usually outweighs the "we're too busy" argument. Think about it, even if you're new, showing who you are, what your mission is, who's behind it, that's fundamental branding. It's how you connect with customers from day one. Many successful startups actually prioritize this because they're new. They need to establish that credibility quickly. When that information is just missing entirely, it feels like you're shopping blind. You have no idea who you're dealing with, who's accountable if things go really wrong. Who do you even contact for serious issues? It can feel like they're trying to be anonymous. And in today's world, with scams being so common, that lack of basic "who are you" information is a huge deterrent for anyone being careful online. It goes right to the heart of accountability. If no one's visible, who takes responsibility?
Yeah, shopping blind. That really nails the feeling, that unease when you can't find out who you're giving your money to. Okay, so we got the green flags, the support details, the social media, and then these really big red flags, the missing reviews, the awful external feedback, the newness, the total lack of ownership info. Taking it all together, what does this all mean for UrbanClothingLondon.com? How did ScamFinder synthesize all this? What's the verdict?
Well, ScamFinder basically laid it out like this. On one side, yes, you've got a professional-looking website, you've got that Facebook link, you've got the phone number and address, things that initially might make you think, okay, this looks legit. That's the surface level. But then when you weigh that against the really heavy red flags, the picture changes drastically. The site's brand new, no reviews on their own platform, which is suspicious. Then overwhelmingly bad reviews elsewhere with really specific, serious complaints, and critically, zero transparency about who is actually running the show. The conclusion was pretty stark. The initial professional look just doesn't stand up to scrutiny. The underlying problems are too big, too fundamental. They completely undermine any trust those initial green flags might have built.
So the final advice from ScamFinder about urbanclothinglondon.com was pretty blunt, and it's really important for you, our listener, to hear this clearly. Their recommendation, shop with extreme caution, or honestly, maybe just skip it altogether.
Yeah.
They really drove home the point that even though some bits looked okay on the surface, the core issues were just too risky. Too many warning signs pointing towards a potentially bad experience.
Exactly. And again, this isn't just about warning you off one potentially dodgy website. It's about giving you that practical framework we talked about so you can evaluate any online store you come across. Learning to look past the shiny surface, to dig into external reviews, check for transparency, consider the site's age. These are vital skills now. Absolutely vital. Applying this kind of critical thinking, it empowers you, helps you make much safer choices, protect your money, and avoid these kinds of pitfalls online, whatever you're buying. That's the real takeaway here.
What a journey. A really eye-opening deep dive showing just how tricky online trust can be. We started seeing some genuinely good signs, didn't we? The support options, the social media, the hints of other business stuff looked promising. But then, pulling back the curtain revealed those really significant red flags. The missing reviews, the terrible feedback elsewhere, the site being so new, and that huge question mark over who's actually in charge. It's such a stark contrast. Really shows how a slick presentation can sometimes hide some pretty deep problems if you don't know what to look for.
It really does. And considering everything we've uncovered here about how quickly that professional facade fell apart, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does this rise of websites that look perfectly legitimate but might be unreliable or worse, how does that impact our overall trust in online shopping, in the whole digital marketplace? It's definitely something to think about long after this deep dive ends.